Hello everybody, happy Saturday. God bless all my brothers and sisters in Hawaii who are undergoing a Category 1 hurricane. I hate to admit this, but we were, for some reason, so this is a nice, here's a patio, and here's a nice walkway. 3 foot wide I made this. And then this is garden area here off to the left. I was looking at it right before we poured yesterday, and the garden area was 13 cm wider back here than it was at the front. 13 cm is about 6 inches. So what I don't know is, and I don't frankly care, I know where our property line is, and although I own this piece of property, it may not always be that way, but this wall is on the property line. Now, they don't stake things like we do in America. This is a survey, and he puts a piece of paint there. We drove the nail in the center. No idea how accurate that is, because the actual line is on the other side of this fence. And then up there, there's a 4-inch round piece of concrete in the ground. Again, they don't mark it with a nail. That shows the precise point. It's just kind of rough it to be the middle, I guess. Nobody really knows. So that's going to throw it off a little bit, I imagine. I'm not certain if this house is not perfectly square on the lot. Could be a combination of both or some other thing. So anyway, I just didn't like the way this garden looked 13 cm wider, 6 inches wider in the back than it was in the front. And that's about 30 feet in length. So my solution was to do a couple things. To do a, if we, snaked it this way. But this being a modern house with straight lines, I didn't really like that. We could leave it wider in the front, wider in the narrow, wider in the back and narrower in the front. I didn't like that either. So here's my solution, is we are going to have pads down. 4 foot wide, 3 foot wide. So our walkway right here where this butt out is 3 foot, and where it steps in, it's 4 foot. 4 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 3 foot. Which kind of works with our wall on the other side of this property. Step it in, step it out. So now this, you don't notice it, but it's still, especially with that guy sitting there, and you probably wouldn't have noticed it with a bunch of plants and stuff either, but I don't know. So my solution was to step it in, step it out. It's still in the front and the back is going to be off by 6 inches, 13 cm. But you don't notice it as much when it's stepped in and stepped out. At least I don't. So I like solving a problem and making it look like we did it on purpose. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yesterday we had a cleaning crew come in. There was about 6 of them. They spent, 6 to 7 hours or more here. Cleaned things up nicely. We're not done cleaning because our floor is still covered and we're still making a little bit of dust and dirt, you can see. So we're going to have them come back. But it's looking pretty good now, huh? I wish I could show you the floor, but I can't. But we'll get around to that. Our stairs, treads are going to be going in, well, maybe Monday, I'm not sure. The glass guy was supposed to be here Friday to install the glass panes, but now it looks like he's going to be here Monday. The appliances are all cleaned up, and Our vent hood is there, and you can't even tell there's a vent hood here. I'm not thrilled about the fact that I got to really bend over to find the control. It's, you know, it's touch sensitive, so there's not even a button you can feel it. Just, I don't know, maybe I'll get used to it eventually. Steam oven is in. Got compartments to keep coffee and your other stuff. That's not a steam oven, excuse me, the coffee maker. You probably realize that. Here's the steam oven. And then we're gonna have a regular oven here and a cooktop. Pantry's all cleaned up and stuff. We got get our door in here still. Knob, you know. When they put the door in, it takes a lot of extra. You know, they try to get it close, and then they gotta fudge it a little bit here and there. Yeah, we got under counter lights in here. Sink is in. Still not very happy with the. There's the hot water pressure. Well, I just don't know. Yeah, and there's the cold water. A little bit better. I don't really know. Sometimes it seems like it's much less. Refrigerator's looking good. We'll get upstairs. We'll. Now you want to take a look at this bathroom. I don't want anybody in here using it, but it cleans up nice with the mirror. Ignore that funny looking guy behind the curtain. So that's not going to stay closed, huh? Or open. Maybe it will. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's turn that water on. I meant to do that. Gosh, I hate to step in here. So I can never tell which is cold and which is hot. And that's hot. You can see the cold water kind of has a blue tint to it. I don't know if the hot's supposed to or not. So cool looking. And we're all wired up, so when we get our treads in, we can run these lights on here, and they're all motion activated. And I don't know, there's much to show here. Doorknobs on. Got to get door stops. This is cleaned up some. Closet's working. Turn on the light, I realize, and then the light comes on. Unfortunately, they're on the same switch, so you got to turn both on to make it work. But they're all lit up. But the bathroom's looking good, huh? We've got to get this yellow tape TP holder, towel, and they broke their panel, so I'm not really sure why it's taking them so long to get back here. But it is. This is working. It's working, but not to my satisfaction. The shower, the hot water pressure. So I can't find a pump. I am desperately seeking a pump that handles hot water, and it's very complicated because it's got to be brass or cast iron. And brass or cast iron, right? And so the parts don't melt. This is our storage room. I hope, sorry I was so close. That's kind of annoying. Anyway, what can you see there? So back to what I was trying to say. Brass or cast iron so the parts don't melt. And then it's got to be 220. So if I order it, I can order it from America, but they're 110. So then I got to put a step-down converter up there, which is an option. But I'd prefer to get a pump that is rated for 220. So I'm still looking. And maybe my next stop will be checking Germany. Let's see if I can find some there. I keep thinking that the camera's pointing out. So here, we didn't put all the drawers in and stuff. we can do that later, allegedly. See this guy, they forgot this when they cleaned, so I don't really know how clean that is. Yeah, it looks like it. I'll take it down. And then the glass block in, well, we'll look at the office. Everything looks relatively normal. But the glass block in here, finally is what I'm looking for. So the bathroom cleaned up nice, and then we got our mirror, our countertop, and then the glass block. There's no red or green or purple or pink or any other weird colors in it. And he, without permission or asking, he just went, instead of putting the white grout in there, which I brought him, he caulked it with clear caulk. So he had to remove all that and put the grout in. So, you know, he finally got it right. It's not the best grouting job, but my gosh, I'm so tired of it. Kind of beat this up a little bit. Tub's in, shower head's in. That was another ordeal after ordeal after ordeal. And I'm still not sure if we're done with all this plumbing nonsense. And it's the guy I've been waiting for. So let's go check that out. He's going to show me how to clean out our filters.